Hey, it's James Taylor here. I thought what I would do in this episode is actually talk to you about a book I found very influential, and if you're interested in creativity, especially in relation to organizations and teams, this is a book I highly recommend that you pick up. It's by a writer called Ed Catmull. Ed was is president of Pixar and Disney Animation, and what's fascinating about this book is you see his transition from an individual, kind of creative individual, going through to becoming a great manager of people and actually being a creative leader. And it's an incredible book. It's an incredible journey that he talks about. And if you're working in a team or you're trying to lead an organization and you want to do it in a creative way, this is definitely a book you need to pick up. And I just want to pull out a couple of quotes from it that I think are very insightful, and I hope you kind of get some use from them as well. So one of the things he talked about was his aim at Pixar, and I think this is very instructive in thinking about this within organizations. So he said, "My aim at Pixar has been to enable our people to do our best work." I've seen this in the past within organizations where the very highest person in the company still believes themselves to be first and foremost a manager of people. And that, especially in even mid-sized organizations, actually that's not the case. I think to be a great creative, CEO of a company, your job is really to create the environment to enable and create the process to enable your people to do their best work. And you certainly did that with Pixar. I mean, if you look at an organization, you look at the number of movies that they've created, the Toy Story movies, and Brave, and it goes on and on and on. I thought it was very insightful, thinking about this difference between management and leadership for a start, and then really understanding if you do have that role within a company, a CEO type role within a company, your first and your biggest job is to create that place where people can do their best, they can do their most creative work. So I love that. And then he talked about this process about going kind of through being a manager to being a leader. And I love this quote. If you've ever managed people, you'll identify with this. And he said, "I remember going home at night, exhausted, feeling like I was balancing on the back of a herd of horses. Only some of the horses were thoroughbreds, some were completely wild, and some were ponies who were struggling to keep up. I found it hard to hold on, let alone steer." And if you've ever worked in a creative organization, you're going to recognize that quote, because you'll often have these very A-type individuals within a creative organization, and they are the wild, they're the thoroughbreds, and then you're going to have some wild stallions within it as well. And then, frankly, you can have some ponies, some donkeys as well, that you need to quickly identify, because part of your role as a leader, and I think Steve Jobs said this perfectly. He said, when you're hiring, you're building your team, you want to be hiring A players, because A players usually hire other A players. If you hire B players hire C players, C player hires D players, and before you know it, you're in a very uncreative kind of environment where you're not getting you don't have the best construction of a team. So I love that, but that feeling of feeling very kind of overwhelmed at managing a team as well. And then the other thing to think of, this is especially the case if you're involved in a startup or you're any kind of new creative endeavor. And I think this should give you comfort. And bear in mind, Pixar is a massive organization yet, but if you read this book, you'll see that it definitely didn't start that way. And he went through a lot of trials and tribulations. And I love this quote, which is, "There's nothing quite like ignorance combined with a driving need to succeed to force rapid learning." So if you've ever worked in a startup, I had the good fortune of working in a number of startups in Silicon Valley, and there's definitely that feeling. Everyone is clinging a little bit to the edge of the seat. There's definitely ignorance, which is great, because in Zen Buddhism they talk about beginner's mind, and that's actually incredibly powerful. I love actually bringing people into my team who maybe don't have, they haven't exactly come from this industry that I work in before, but they come out with a freshness and a newness that maybe someone like myself that's been in my industry for a while, I kind of have to kind of continually work on developing that kind of beginner's mind. Another quote I love from is really about the importance of people, and I don't think we stress this enough. Especially within creativity, this ideas has the highest priority. And you look at something like a TED Talks, ideas is all about ideas. But this is a very important part, is ideas come from people, therefore people are more important than ideas. When I'm building a team, the first and foremost is I'm looking at the person, the individual. Likewise, if I'm investing in a company, the idea is important, it needs to be a great idea, but I really need to understand the people behind the ideas, because ideas will come and go, and in any organization that first big idea will probably not be the idea. The company may pivot in some way, but what I'm really investing in is the individual, is the people, and I truly believe this. I believe that people are much more important than ideas, and so if you're thinking about recruiting of your team, don't get waylaid in thinking, well, this person has like lots of great ideas. Think about how is this person going to maybe necessarily work within a team. Can you see this person generating lots of ideas into the future as well? And then the final one I see is really around goals and goal setting as creatives, and within large organizations like this, very complex organizations like Pixar and Disney, they have to kind of get this thing right between the quote here is, I often say that managers of creative enterprises must hold lightly to goals and firmly to intentions. And another way I think about this is, and if you've ever done any kind of goal setting and working towards goals, there's a danger that you can become overly attached to the goal itself and lose all the enjoyment, all the pleasure from actually going to and working towards that goal. Another way of thinking about that is often, when we're driving, it's trying to find this middle way, and this is what kind of creativity looks to try and achieve in some ways. This kind of middle way between, when I'm driving, if I hold onto the steering wheel too hard, then what's going to happen is it's going to cause me lots of pain for a start, and it's actually probably a bit dangerous. But likewise, if I hold the steering wheel really loosely, one hand, one finger, really dangerous, super dangerous. So it's kind of finding this kind of middle way. So he told holding lightly to goals, but being very focused on intentions and understanding what your purpose is as an organization and what your intentions are as an organization. So I can't recommend this book highly enough. Creativity, even if you don't work within a company, not building a creative company, it's just you're a solopreneur, you're an individual creative. It's definitely worth getting, just to understand how organizations like this, at this kind of level, can work, and thinking, even if you work with a distributed team or with other freelancers, it's a great way of thinking about building a creative team and working with people creatively. So once again, the book is Creativity Inc. and it's by Ed Catmull. My name is James Taylor. Hi, it's James here. Did you enjoy that episode? If so, there's two things that we can do to continue the journey together. Firstly, I would love if you were to subscribe, give us 5 stars and leave a comment. Secondly, if you go to jamestaylor.me and enter your name and email address, I'm going to send you some free goodies all around creativity and innovation. Look forward to continuing the journey together.